So if you teach people how to win in the natural, teach them principles. Don't break the code. Stick with loyalty. If you teach principles and you stick with principles, you'll be all right with God. Because God don't break covenant. And principle is living according to a covenant. Principle is living according to a truth. So if you stick with principles, everything that the enemy attempts to do to us is to get us out of principles. So he would say, don't get them tired. What was that? Breaking them? Tell that lie. Breaking a principle. See? Thou shalt not lie. Principle. You know? Well, it don't matter if you go ahead and do that. You know what I'm saying? You can go ahead and you ain't got to let them know. Just go ahead and eat that plum. Or what have you. Breaking them. They're stealing.
It is best.
See? So, it's the principles. If you can ever teach people to win with principles, it won't be hard to teach them God. It won't be hard. Because God is nothing but principles. The Bible is nothing but principles. So that's why I teach principles. The principle. What is the common sense of the thing? What is the principle? It's a principle. Principle is this. It takes male and female in order to reproduce. Mm-hmm. That's a principle, right? So how can I take two males and think I'm going to produce?
Yeah.
How can I take two females and think I'm going to produce?
Yeah.
See, what I've done is I'm breaking principle. And when I break principles, that's going to pull me away from God. Because God is a God of principles.
He ain't breaking them.
So you see, so it's principles. Live according to principles, and things will be alright. You know, things will be alright if you live according to principles. If you live according to principles. Don't do nothing you don't want done to you. Golden rule.
That's my dad used to say.
See, that's a principle. Yeah. Be good to people.
Yeah, be good to granddaddy.
That's a principle.
Oh, granddaddy.
See?
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Because they say people will remember you by what
That what granddaddy said.
to them.
For them. Yeah. Yeah. Dang.
Those are principles. Those are principles. So let's show let's show this right here before we close out. Okay. Let's go back to that. Being careful about what you do to other people. If you just live by that principle alone, you're gonna stay in the middle of the road. Cause you ain't gonna be doing stuff to folk you ain't got no business.
That was Warren, if you had shared a message with us a couple of years ago, maybe a year and a half ago. Warren said there's no need to know what the end gonna be. He said because you already sowing them seeds now. He said so really no need to say I wonder where I'll be in the future. He said every day you do it now is your future. Whatever you put in the ground today.
See.
I forgot exactly how Warren said. You know, Warren, he get a word with such a. But he was the one you had shared that word with us.
Yeah, but if you just take principles, if you just live by the principle of knowing whatever I sow, I'm gonna reap. See, that'll make you pump your brakes before you do some stuff. You know, should I, shoot, no, I ain't finna backstab them folk. Why? Because I don't want nobody Backstabbing me. You see? So if you do it by principle, if you just go by the principles, it will literally save your life. And the principle is the thing that God will respect. You go back to the thief on the cross, the two thieves. One broke principle, didn't care nothing about principle. The other one had principle about himself. He had so much principle about himself. This is what he said. He said, look, we the ones should be punished because we the ones done stuff we ain't have no business doing. This man here is innocent. See? And because of him having that type of principle in that particular situation, it caused him to go to paradise.
Yeah, I also gives account that he paid attention to what was happening for Jesus too.
Yeah. See, he was in the right place for the wrong reasons. He was there because he was a crook and was finna be put to death. But it ended up being the right place because he worked a principle. See, principles will get you out of trouble, y'all. Find the principle in a thing, and it'll get you butt out of trouble. It'll always get you out of trouble. That principle will. Just find the principle in it. What's the principle in this situation? This situation I'm dealing with. What's the principle matter in this? And it'll get you out. It's going to start bringing you some type of resolve, some type of resolution. It's when we stay away from principles that we find ourselves in trouble. See, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Okay, I use natural analogies, but it's just what comes to my head that I use, all right? So, say Billy Bob and Jackie is they husband and wife. And Billy Bob come and start trying to holler at Susie Jane. Well, Susie Jane thinks based off principle, she'll get out of that. She'll get out of it. Because principle is going to say, I can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because I'm hurting somebody. But a lot of times we tend to think that the people ain't hurt because they don't know. Yes, they are. It's a betrayal. It's a betrayal. So yes, it is. There is you can be hurt by what you don't know. You sure can. You can be hurt in the context of you trust that person, but they burning you. See, you got all confidence in this person, but this person is burning you behind your back. You don't even know that they're not who they say that they are. They're not who they are portraying themselves to be in front of you. So yes, so principle Sally, it's up to her to work principle. See, if she works principle, depending on the type of nature Billy Bob has, it can affect him in a positive way. Because he can look and see, you know what? I ain't ever had nobody to shut me down. You know what I'm saying? Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. I ain't ever had nobody to talk to me like that. Because she saw it from principle standpoint versus from flesh standpoint. Principle says, I can't do that. Because if I do that, I'm setting myself up for it to be done to me. See? And I can, I can recover from it, but I still got to bear a penalty. So I'm setting myself up for it to. So I can't. Billy Bob, have you thought about maybe sitting down? You know what I'm saying? With her that y'all talked about this. Have y'all brought in maybe a third party with counseling? Or something of the fact, maybe I don't know. Maybe it is at a place of end. Maybe it is at a place of closing, but it's not my position to step into it because it's not closed. You need to close it. You need to get that taken care of. That's not my position for me to come into that like that. You may have stepped to me prematurely. You know what I'm saying? All of that comes out of principle. Every bit of it comes when you live life according to principles. Those principles will start kicking in when situation comes in play. They will kick in as they say, don't do that. Don't say that. Turn that in. Those principles will. So that's why I try to teach y'all principles. What is the principle in the situation? In the situation you're dealing with, what is the principle in the situation? The principle in the situation is this right here. He will keep me in perfect peace if I keep my mind stayed on him. Okay, y'all doing stuff against me, trying to be dirty. The principle is, I ain't finna be dirty with you. I'm gonna stay in my place of peace, my place of resolve. That's where I'm gonna stay. That's principle. That's principle in operation. That's principle. I have a safe haven from you now. I'd be dog if I let you invade this territory. I came out of your territory. So I am not going to bring you to this territory. That was the whole purpose of me getting out of that territory. So I am not going to allow you to antagonize me in this new place. See, I'm not going to bring old wine into my new bottle because it'll burst my bottle. And before you know it, I have a whole big old mess in my new space. I have to accept the fact that you might not understand what I'm doing. You might not like what I'm doing. That's okay. It's okay. In time will heal. In given time, you'll understand it better by and by. And keep right on moving. That's principle in operation. That's principle. You have to use principle when you're dealing with things. You have to use principle. You can't allow somebody to approach you when you know the details of a situation or situations that they have going on, and you allow them to approach you and come at you on a slick sideways. You got to be smart enough to catch that stuff and put principles in motion, because principles are boundaries. They are boundaries. That's what principles are. They are nothing but boundaries. And so you won't cross that when you live according to principles. Even if you don't know everything that there is about God, if you will stick close to principles, you will learn more of God. You will learn more of God. Because when you win in life, you begin to transcend more into kingdom.
Right.
When you win in life, think about the stages of how things are set. You have Egypt, which is sin. Then you have the wilderness, which is learning principles. And then you have Canaan, which is the kingdom or the promised land. See, we want to learn the kingdom first and then try to pour kingdom on the principles. No. Get the principles and it will get you to the kingdom. Work the principles and the principles will